Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach and shift gears. I tried to do a shift. I can't drive a stick shift in a car. I don't know why I'm bringing this up. I would venture to guess that's most people. That's probably the best security mechanism you can have in your cars is drive a stick shift because most people can't drive them. I know the mechanism behind it. You put the clutch in, you shift, you put the clutch out, although I probably would be very, very jerky with it the first time. But if I had to actually do it, maybe, possibly, well, I don't know. But anyway, shifting gears. I'm actually going to start backing up here and doing the projected types builder because I think we're going to need that. We're going to need that because, yeah, we actually return that from here. And I'm going to have to get to this point eventually, right? So might as well. Let's go to mock projected type builder. Types builder? Yeah, types builder. And let's make the good old V3 version because we have to, okay? So what's interesting here is I don't remember how I did any of this. Oh man, I don't remember any of this. But yeah, we're getting rid of this. It's always a tab string, right? Why? Executive decision. Okay. That's right. We make another writer, and so we're just going to do the tab. Get rid of some code. And then there's projected delegate builder and ARG builder and types adornment builder. And it just keeps going. But I think it's all based on information that's within or should be in the type model. I believe. I don't think. Like if I go to this, what's all this being used for? Properties, which I'm going to be skipping. Okay, methods. Requires projected delegate. Yeah, so it is all in the mock type. Okay, so let's change this to type model. And the word type. We should. I mean, okay, so projected delegate builder. Let's make the V3 version of that. Okay, and nope. One step at a time. Type model, type, and you should have known what that is. These are all locals. Build delegate delegates. And then we just say methods length here. And then for the methods, it's a method model, right? So what's required projected delegate? This isn't a method model. These are getting quite big, but requires projected delegate equals method requires projected delegate. And it's that simple, folks. And then, of course, it's doing this because it's too stupid. That's actually, I think, a bug. I think the refactoring should say you're not calling, you're not trying to assign the extension method group thingy to that. You're just trying to there. And then we'll do build delegates. And we don't need to do a select anymore. And then the build delegates here would be IEnumerable of method model. Okay, which of course requires this to be method model. Which of course is going to make that. And do we have return type is ref-like type? I don't think so. This dot return type is ref-like type. Method return type is ref-like type. Do the dance. So we can come up here. And those will change eventually. We'll come back to that. That just goes through and rips through all of them. And we're going to have to come back to the properties later on. This is a journey of many paths and forks in the road and other stuff. Okay. Now, again, by this point, we would hopefully not need to have the compilation. But what's the problem here? Build delegates. Oh, we don't have okay. And then explicit method groups. We could group by okay. So we'll say value requires projected delegates, and these are explicit. We don't need a value here. And we can say containing type fully qualified name. And we don't care about the key. We just care about the value. Because the value here, explicit method group. What just changed there? So if I go into that and I come down here, so explicit method group, it's a grouping and a method mockable result. What is the first point? Oh, it gets the, oh, we don't need a value. Okay. And then we could just say properties and then build properties, but we're not there yet. Okay, so we made a little bit more progress. I was also thinking this morning as I'm doing all this, I might do some of this off camera because this this is getting very repetitive, I bet, at this point. And I might just get on the struggle bus and go as far as I can to where I would actually be able to finally create code. Because what I also want to do at that point is, once I finally have the methods in place, and even if it has all the shims and everything, but just get it to the point where I could actually attempt to start generating code. And once I do that, then I want to start playing with some tests to compare. If I have a compilation in place with the current generator, and I change the type, the target type, with a non-virtual method, does the current one still generate it? And if it doesn't, that would be, I would still stick with this approach because I do think this is the right way to do it. Regardless of whether this way doesn't, or the original way still would cache correctly or something like that. I would hope that this, does do that, but I still think this is the right approach. So anyway, so we say build delegate to do come back for properties. We'll get you, don't worry. We did not forget you. You are not forgotten. And then we'll do the same thing here. So that takes care of a little bit of mess. But we got to come back up here now and do a lot of the hard work, which is we need to get oh boy. Get the projected callback delegate name, get the projected callback fully qualified name, get the projected return value, and get the projected return value delegate fully qualified name. Oof. Oof. Well, never said it would be simple, right? So if we come here and we say build delegate, and then we come to get projected delegate and get projected delegate, projected return value delegate. And these, I believe, are calling up in here to get those kinds of things. So we need to say get projected delegate. This would now be a method model and projected delegate return value delegate method model. We got to do this. It's a moral imperative. Return value, return type, fully qualified name. Okay, so that takes care of that. We got the ref kinds. These are now parameters. So we can say type, fully qualified name, get rid of that. We already captured that. And we should be having a return of attributes description. That actually cleans up a lot because we can now just do that. So that's nice. We got that going for us. And we say constraints on length. And then we need the name. Okay. Now, here should be the same thing. Return type fully qualified. Thank you. Okay, so we've cleaned that up. Now we need to get the projected callback delegate name. Well, the only thing that is being used in here is the display string, right? And that get hash is because we need to get one that's consistent. It makes the name pretty long, but it, Okay, so the thing that I'm struggling with right now from a design standpoint is what this is going to be is a method model. And there will be a toDisplay string for this. How often is this done? Projected delegate builder, projected delegate builder. Well, that's in the test, which it's going to be quite fun. Well, no, we want to keep those because those will still be around. We're just going to move where this is going. So we have type model containing namespace, display string, display string. Those are still there. What I'm wondering is, what actually is this? if that made sense. Because these are the delegate builders. And then there's all these minimally qualified formats. Is there anywhere where we're doing this? That's in the test. We only do this in the projected delegate builder. Or we need this special format. And I forget what this is giving, but it makes it work well. Where does this get called? What? Well, okay, that's the V3. Right, so if I come back up here, this has to be getting called somewhere, right? Yeah. A lot of places. We just haven't gotten there yet, so don't get your hopes up just yet. Though it's interesting that it gets... That's right. I did this because I want these to be called from both from here and other places. So it's potentially a fun thing. But this would be, we would pass in a type model and get the containing namespace, which we've already done that work. We could get the flattened name and then that's it. And then we come back up here and we get the method. So this is really the crux of it. Formats a symbol description as in a C# compiler. And I already did this. I already know that. Projected callback delegate name. Now, the thing that I think I've got this, but the thing is, I only want to make this if I know that we're going to do this. if that made sense. Well, I already do. I know if it's going to require a projected. Okay, well, there you go. So let's come back to the method model and let's say if this dot requires projected delegate, then what we're going to do is say, no, stop it. This dot projected delegate. What do we call back? Delegate name is equal to that. And now we're going to say, make a read-only property, except this is going to be nullable, because it's only in the case where you needed it. Where are we going to set it? So then here now, when we say method model, now we can say this whole thing, get required. Wait, this is on the method model. Yeah. Okay. Projected callback delegate name. Boom. Oh, and we know in this case, that's fine. Now, it isn't. That's not enough. We need to actually, we really want this to be in the method itself and have that do everything. So if I come back up here, I want this whole thing to be in the method model. So when I say, but we only do it if we know we have to, because we're going to get to it eventually. And so amazingly, if I come back over to, oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, I'm doing that right. Okay. So here, who's calling this? This is just in the protected delegate builder. Except we also, I think this is kind of a test thing that we made it internal so that I could actually test it separately. But arguably, we don't need to do that anymore. So I'm going to say to do, I'm making this private because for testing purposes, it was easier to make it internal. However, now it's on the model, and that's where we could do the test. Well, I mean, like, I don't even need it anymore is what I'm saying. Because now if I come back down here, this is on v3, and right here is where now I'd say method projected callback delegate name. And that's it. That's now all I need. And I could do the same thing, I bet, if I come back over here and look for where all this is being called, and that's all within the same thing. So if I say build and I come into build delegate, and if the return type is reflect type, then I'm going to do that as well. Okay, so now if I come back to the method model, if return type is reflect type. So let's pull that down here. And now say if that, now we have a, what is this going to be called? Well, shoot. I just realized something. Except projected callback delegate, that is still, it doesn't change that. So I can say here, method projected. Well, when I get there. Okay, I just realized that that's still a method symbol. But when I get there, I can change that. But I would only call this here. And so what I want is this when I say this dot projected return value delegate name, return value delegate name is equal to all that. And guess what? You're that. And you're going to be internal and potentially nullable. And so we no longer need this as well. That goes away. Except you didn't. Oh, yes, you do. Okay. So this is the project, because you're calling projected return value delegate, which is return type, fully qualified name. And then you say here method projected return value delegate name. Boom. Done. Well, not done. that's pretty arrogant. Not done. We're not done. We're just done. I just realized something. Oh no, those are creatable array string. Okay, never mind. I'm starting to get a little paranoid because I thought, oh my God, that's a string coming back. No, that's a string of all the constraints, which is the same thing we had before, so that doesn't change. Okay. This is all very delicate surgery. It's not going to take much to screw one thing up and have problems. Okay, so now we say here, like if I say get projected delegate and get projected return value delegate, this actually could be shortened up because it's simpler now. We could say here just this, get rid of that, and make this an expression bodied, which looks like that. And you could almost arguably say that goes on the method model. To do this could go on the method model itself, potentially. And then this, now look, the compilation is not even being used. It's realized that you don't need it, so that goes away. And so you only do this when you need to, when we've done our calls. But we've already checked in the model that we know we're going to have to do this. So when we come to this point, we can have this there. Much cleaner. I'm almost wondering if when we get to these, if it's going to be kind of a similar thing. But we're really at time for this episode. So that is some progress. I might do one, maybe two more where I go through this because I need to get through more of the projection stuff. But is compilation, like we're saying build delegate, we say build delegate, but then we come in here and this here isn't being used anywhere. You notice that? So we don't need the compilation in here anymore, which means we don't need to do that anymore, which means we don't need that anymore. Now, I don't want to say the same thing for properties just yet, but we don't need it here. And whoops. Hey, calm down here. We don't need it there. So we've already gotten rid of the compilation, which we don't need to pass in here anymore. Why are you barking? Oh, because we didn't take it off of here, but we can now. And we're good. Okay, still lots of compilation errors. Okay, we haven't gotten rid of that, but more progress. So I'll probably do one more episode before I go off and do a bike ride and some other things today. Again, it's Memorial Day weekend when I'm recording all these strings of episodes, but wanted to get some recorded, and I will do one or two more before a bike ride. So thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.